From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, Yellowstone County now with 3 times the confirmed active COVID-19 cases of any other Montana county. Since July 1st, 96 positive cases added to an already growing number of people infected with coronavirus in Billings and surrounding communities. Now, health leaders confirmed dozens of cases today, pushing the state's active cases to more than 500. And 149 of them are right here in Yellowstone County. The next largest influx in Missoula County with 58, then Gallatin County with 50 active cases and 48 in Bighorn County. 20 people are hospitalized tonight. Now, this burst in numbers means Yellowstone County health workers are chasing potential contact cases all across the region. Q2's Russ Riesinger just talked with the county health officer and is standing by in the Q2 newsroom to tell us more. Russ.
Well, think about this for a minute. A third of all the cases we've had in Yellowstone County since this pandemic began have happened in less than a week's time. So that definitely shows it is here and needs to be reckoned with. Yellowstone County Health Officer John Felton says the increase is not because more testing is being done.
Most of the people that we've identified as being positive are symptomatic. We have not found very many positive cases through surveillance testing of asymptomatic people. We're finding between 5 and 10, typically between 5 and 10 contacts for each positive case. And then those all need to be followed up on. And if they're symptomatic, they need to be tested.
And what kind of strain is that putting on your department right now?
Yeah, the strain on public health is pretty strong right now. We had people who worked all holiday weekend, 10 or 12 hours a day, following up on cases, contacting people who've been identified. Our hospital systems are still have capacity in their hospital beds and their ICU beds and ventilator capacity, but it is putting quite a strain on the public health system.
Many of the cases we've had are coming from gatherings. Felton says if there is an increase from people getting together over the 4th, we probably wouldn't see that for 1 to 2 weeks from now. In the meantime, he's asking people to social distance, use good hygiene, and wear a mask, something he admits has been a tough sell here. Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, Russ. In Wyoming, 33 new positive cases were reported this afternoon. This brings the state's total active lab-confirmed cases to 375. Billings health leaders laid out their coronavirus concerns to Senator Steve Daines today. Representatives from Billings Clinic, St. Vincent Healthcare, and Riverstone Health all addressed the federal government's response. Billings Clinic CEO Dr. Scott Elner tells Daines the hospital is seeing more cases now, but capacity is not an issue. The biggest challenge is getting COVID tests turned around quickly. Now, Ty Elkin from St. Vincent Healthcare Foundation says the hospital is now looking to change the visitor policy. Now, he added the hospital has plenty of patient capacity, but it needs to maintain elective surgeries. Well, President Trump signed legislation extending the deadline for businesses to apply for a loan under the Paycheck Protection Program. The PPP was established in March as part of the coronavirus relief bill. Since then, nearly 5 million small businesses applied for more than $500 billion in potentially forgivable loans. Officials say there is $130 million of PPP loans left. The deadline to apply for the program is now August 8th.
Montana's doing great with this program as far as being able to, I think, distribute the funds. We're over 23,000 PPP loans in Montana for $1.76 billion. On top of that, there's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program that's got over 16,500 advances for about $49.5 million.
Nearly everyone has had to adapt in some ways during the pandemic. With less resources, nonprofit organizations are having to make changes to meet the needs of their communities. MTN's Annie Johnson brings us the full story.
Nonprofit organizations are known for their want to help others, but what does that look like in the middle of a pandemic when resources might not be as available?
Needs are so great that the resources coming in are either a little bit slow to get to people in terms of some of the federal supports and just the inadequate federal supports.
It's hard because without that face-to-face contact and without the ability to build those relationships and really connect with those families, sometimes they're reluctant to ask for help.
And it's a challenge to be able to still provide for our seniors in our area, and we can't necessarily visit them and assist them every single day like we used to, so we've certainly had to adapt those services as well.
At first it was kind of scary because we needed a lot of food and we needed it quickly.
So how have these nonprofits been able to stay afloat during a pandemic?
It's a very generous community. We are a community that looks out for each other and takes care of each other. So I have been repeatedly impressed with how our other nonprofits have worked together.
We've had, some revelations come out of this as well that, we're thankful for, that, oh yeah, we can provide services virtually and online to people, and that actually gets people those resources better.
The community has been incredible. They truly have. We've seen some new donors that we never worked with before, and it's just exciting to see people caring for each other. That's the best part.
There's so many ways you can help out. You never know when what you have is the answer to someone's problem. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Thanks so much, Annie. Now, in other news tonight, a major setback today for the world of Bakken oil as a federal judge orders the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline must be shut down and emptied of oil by August 5th. The 1,100-mile pipeline began operating 3 years ago. It stretches from North Dakota to Illinois and moves 40% of North Dakota's crude oil to market. That's 570,000 barrels each day. Last March, a District of Columbia judge ordered the Army Corps of Engineers to complete a full environmental impact statement on that project. But the question of whether the pipeline would have to be shut down in the interim has lingered until now. Now, the Corps says a full EIS will take at least 13 months to complete. Monday's ruling sent shockwaves through oil-rich North Dakota, where state officials estimate shutting down the pipeline will result in the loss of more than $300 million in tax revenue per year. Now, the project's developer plans to file a motion to stay the decision. The shutdown of an operating pipeline marks a major win for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Now, also late this afternoon, we have an update on the Keystone XL pipeline. The U.S. Supreme Court has refused to let construction start. The court rejected a Trump administration effort to jumpstart the project. The move will likely delay construction for at least another year. Now turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. Bob, a pretty nice day here in Billings, but it could be a bumpy night for others out there.
Yeah, it's been a very active one already. Let me show you what we start off with. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for much of southeastern Montana. It does not include Billings at this point in time, but it does include Forsyth and Ekalaka, places like that. Now, in that, look at this. We have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. One over in Fallon County for half-dollar size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. In southern Custer County, 2-inch size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And in parts of southern Powder River and Carter County, we have half-dollar size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds in that area as well. Take a look at the storms. Here they go, and this one is just starting to come out of Custer County, south of Miles City, heading right in toward the southeast corner of the state. That's going to come together and create a really giant thunderstorm. Now, the big question is there any more coming our way? It looks like most of these things will continue to move out of the area by the rest of the night when it's all over with. We'll have more in your forecast coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, tomorrow, Billings voters will decide the fate of a $1.6 million mill levy for local elementary schools. About 48% of the ballots have been returned so far. Billings School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham has said that this levy will help pay for things like lights, heat, and salaries. If approved, the owner of a home worth $100,000 would see an increase of $9.76 on their annual tax bill. The all-mail election ballots will be counted tomorrow. Now, if you haven't voted yet, it's too late to put your ballot in the mail, but it is not too late to vote. Instead, ballots must be dropped off to the county elections office no later than 8 p.m. tomorrow. Well, Democratic Governor Steve Bullock, who is running for the U.S. Senate, is pulling in some impressive fundraising numbers. On Monday, today, he reported raising $7.7 million in the past 3 months, easily setting a new quarterly record for a Montana candidate. Now, the Bullock campaign says he raised that amount from April through June. Since entering the race on March 9th, Bullock has raised a total of $11 million. Bullock is challenging Republican incumbent Steve Daines. The Montana race is one of several closely watched Senate contests where Democrats believe they can win a GOP seat and put themselves in position to control the U.S. Senate. Danes has raised $9 million through May 13th and still had about $5.8 million left in his campaign account. Bullock now has about $7.4 million remaining, and Danes has not yet released his fundraising totals for this second quarter. Well, another update tonight on your slow-moving traveler making his way to Zoo, Montana. The zoo's new two-toed sloth found a comfy place to hang out last night. Take a look. According to Instagram, while on the road, our sojourning sloth checked into a hotel to get his 8 hours of sleep. Stay up to date on Instagram or head to ktvq.com. Still ahead on tonight's 5:30 news, bear encounters are up this season. Find out a few things you need to know to keep safe. And in sports, the PBR welcomes fans back to the arena this week. Flint Rasmussen visits with Scott on how they're going to make it work.